The Los Angeles Dodgers received absolutely shocking news immediately after the game that left the entire baseball world completely stunned. In a move that nobody saw coming, the Dodgers general manager made a ruthless and unexpected decision regarding Rojas that sent shockwaves throughout the organization. But that was not all. In addition to the shocking news about Rojas, two key players were suddenly traded to the Detroit Tigers in a deal that caught everyone off guard. As if that was not enough drama for one day, a brand new starting pitcher joined the Dodgers and immediately made his debut against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And just when everyone thought the chaos could not possibly get any bigger, Shohei Ohtani dropped a bombshell announcement that caused a massive stir throughout the entire Dodgers organization. This is the full story of one of the most dramatic and eventful days in recent Dodgers history. Immediately after the final out was recorded, the Dodgers front office went into emergency mode. Sources inside the organization revealed that the general manager had been closely monitoring the situation involving Rojas for several days, and the time had finally come to make a decision that nobody wanted to make but everyone knew was necessary. What happened next shocked players, coaches, and fans alike. The Dodgers GM called an emergency meeting with key members of the coaching staff and front office executives. According to those who were present in the room, the atmosphere was tense and the discussions were incredibly serious. The general manager made it clear that the organization could no longer afford to wait and hope that the situation with Rojas would somehow improve on its own. A decision had to be made immediately, and it had to be decisive. Within hours of that meeting, the official announcement was made. The Dodgers GM had made the ruthless decision to remove Rojas from the active roster with immediate effect. The news spread like wildfire throughout the Dodgers clubhouse, and players who had been teammates with Rojas for months stood in stunned silence as they processed what had just happened. Many reporters immediately rushed to get a statement from the general manager. When asked about the decision, the GM did not hold back. He stated clearly and firmly that the organization has standards that must be upheld at all times, and when those standards are not met, difficult decisions must be made regardless of personal feelings or past relationships. This was not an easy decision, the GM admitted, but it was the right decision for this organization and for this team moving forward. The ruthless nature of the decision sent a clear message to everyone inside the Dodgers organization. No player, regardless of their history or their status, is above accountability. The standards are high, and the expectations are even higher. For Rojas, this was a devastating blow that nobody saw coming, and the future now remains uncertain. Just when everyone thought the drama surrounding Rojas was the biggest story of the day, the Dodgers front office dropped another bombshell that completely shocked the baseball world. In a trade that was finalized in record time, the Los Angeles Dodgers sent two key players to the Detroit Tigers in exchange for assets that the organization believes will help strengthen the team for the long term. The trade was announced late in the evening, and the news immediately dominated every sports headline across the country. Fans took to social media to express their shock, disbelief, and in some cases, anger at the sudden departure of two players who had been important contributors to the Dodgers' success this season. The names of the two players were not revealed immediately, but sources confirmed that both were considered key members of the roster and their absence would be felt significantly. According to insiders close to the negotiations, the trade talks between the Dodgers and the Tigers had been ongoing quietly for several days. However, nobody expected the deal to be finalized so quickly or so dramatically. The Dodgers GM was reportedly the driving force behind the trade, pushing hard to get the deal done before the deadline and ensuring that the organization received fair value in return for two key contributors. Manager Dave Roberts was asked about the trade during a hastily arranged press conference. Roberts acknowledged that losing two key players is never easy, especially in the middle of a competitive season, but he expressed full confidence in the front office's decision-making process. "Our GM and our front office know what they are doing," Roberts said firmly. "These decisions are never made lightly, and I trust that this move will benefit our organization both now and in the future." Inside the Dodgers clubhouse, the reaction to the trade was mixed. Some players were visibly upset at losing two teammates they had grown close to over the course of the season. Others understood that trades are part of the business of baseball and that the organization always has to think about the bigger picture. Regardless of individual feelings, one thing was clear. The Dodgers roster had just changed dramatically, and everyone would need to adjust quickly to the new reality. As part of the flurry of roster moves that dominated the day, the Dodgers also announced the arrival of a brand new starting pitcher who would be joining the team immediately. The timing could not have been more perfect, as the Dodgers were scheduled to face the Arizona Diamondbacks in just a matter of days and desperately needed fresh arms in the rotation. The new starting pitcher arrived at Dodger Stadium with a reputation for being a hard worker and a fierce competitor. Although he was not yet a household name, those who had followed his career closely knew that he had the talent and the mentality to succeed at the highest level of professional baseball. The Dodgers front office had been tracking him for months, and when the opportunity finally arose to bring him into the organization, they did not hesitate. What shocked everyone, however, was the decision to give the new starting pitcher his Dodgers debut against the Arizona Diamondbacks almost immediately after his arrival. This was not a typical move, as most teams prefer to give new acquisitions time to settle in, practice with the team, and adjust to their new surroundings before throwing them into game action. But the Dodgers were in a difficult position with their pitching rotation, and the front office believed that this new pitcher was ready to contribute right away. Manager Dave Roberts defended the decision to start the new pitcher so quickly. "We believe in him," Roberts told reporters. "We have watched him closely, we know what he is capable of, and we believe he is ready for this moment. Sometimes you have to trust your instincts and give someone an opportunity to prove themselves on the biggest stage." The announcement of the new pitcher's debut created a huge buzz among Dodgers fans. Social media was filled with speculation, excitement, and nervous anticipation as fans debated whether or not the new pitcher would be able to handle the pressure of making his first start for one of the most famous franchises in all of baseball against a tough division rival like the Diamondbacks. On the day of the game, the atmosphere inside Dodger Stadium was electric. Fans arrived early, eager to get their first look at the new starting pitcher in action. Reporters crowded around the Dodgers dugout, cameras ready to capture every moment of what promised to be a memorable debut. When the new pitcher took the mound for the first time wearing a Dodgers uniform, the entire stadium erupted in applause. He stood on the mound, took a deep breath, and looked in at his catcher for the sign. The first pitch was a fastball right down the middle for a strike, and the crowd went wild. From that moment on, it was clear that this new pitcher belonged on the big stage. According to those who were in the dugout during the game, the new starting pitcher showed incredible composure and confidence throughout his debut. He mixed his pitches effectively, kept the Diamondbacks hitters off balance, and showed absolutely no signs of nervousness despite the enormous pressure of the situation. His teammates were impressed, the coaching staff was thrilled, and the fans were completely won over by his performance. Just when it seemed like the Dodgers organization had dealt with enough drama and excitement for 1 week, Shohei Ohtani stepped forward and made an announcement that immediately caused a massive stir throughout the entire organization and beyond. In a statement that caught everyone by surprise, Ohtani declared his intention to play in the upcoming All-Star game, despite concerns and discussions about whether or not he should rest during the break. The announcement sent shockwaves through the Dodgers front office. According to sources close to the situation, there had been ongoing internal discussions about whether it would be wise for Ohtani to participate in the All-Star game given the grueling nature of the season and the need to keep their superstar healthy and fresh for the playoff push. Some members of the organization had quietly hoped that Ohtani would choose to rest during the All-Star break and use the time to recover and recharge his body. But Ohtani had other plans. In his statement, the Japanese superstar made it clear that playing in the All-Star game is an honor that he does not take lightly. He explained that representing the Dodgers and representing baseball fans around the world on that stage is something incredibly important to him, and he has every intention of being there and giving his absolute best effort. Manager Dave Roberts was immediately asked about Ohtani's declaration. Roberts chose his words carefully, acknowledging that while the organization would have preferred for Ohtani to rest, they also completely understand and respect his desire to participate in one of baseball's most prestigious events. "Shohei is his own man," Roberts said. "He knows his body better than anyone, and if he feels that he can play in the All-Star game and still be ready for what we need to do in the second half of the season, then we trust his judgment." The reaction among Dodgers fans was overwhelmingly positive. Social media exploded with excitement as fans praised Ohtani for his commitment to the game and his willingness to represent the Dodgers on the biggest stage. Many fans pointed out that Ohtani's desire to play in the All-Star game, even when he could easily have taken the time off, is exactly the kind of mentality that makes him such a special and beloved player. However, not everyone inside the organization was completely comfortable with the decision. Sources revealed that some members of the Dodgers front office and medical staff expressed private concerns about the risk of injury and the potential impact on Ohtani's performance in the critical months ahead. These concerns were discussed in meetings, but ultimately the decision was left in Ohtani's hands, and he made it clear that he intends to play. Teammates also weighed in on Ohtani's declaration. Freddie Freeman told reporters that he was not surprised at all by Ohtani's decision. "That is just who Shohei is," Freeman said with a smile. "He loves this game more than anyone I have ever met, and when he has an opportunity to play on a stage like the All-Star game, there is no way he is going to pass that up. We all respect that about him." As the sun set on one of the most dramatic and chaotic days in recent Dodgers history, players, coaches, and front office personnel were left to process everything that had just happened. The ruthless decision regarding Rojas, the shocking trade of two key players to the Tigers, the debut of a brand-new starting pitcher against the Diamondbacks, and Ohtani's All-Star Game declaration had all combined to create a whirlwind of emotions and uncertainty. But through all the chaos and all the changes, one thing remained constant. The Los Angeles Dodgers are a team that is determined to win, willing to make tough decisions, and led by a superstar in Shohei Ohtani who embodies everything that makes baseball great. The road ahead will not be easy, but if this team can handle a day like this with professionalism and resilience, then there is no challenge too big for them to overcome.